Greetings, everyone. Greetings, and welcome to Progressive Discussions. I'm here, coming to you from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. I have me trusted, imported Blackthorn Irish Shillelagh from Ireland, and I'm with my co-host and mentor, the one and only, the Pope of the Internet, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It happens to be Saturday, September 17th, 2011. How you doing today, sir? How you feeling?
Well, as you can see, we have the doors open, the windows open on this, which seems like a autumn day.
Oh yeah, autumn weather is finally here. It's about the end of September, and it dipped sharply, Bill. I mean, it was like summer temperatures, hot and humid, and then it just dipped really fast. I think at night it might have reached
34, I think.
Huh?
34, I think.
A low of 34?
Yeah, it was only supposed to go to 44.
Well, not in our part of New Jersey, but maybe out in
the suburbs.
The suburbs up in Sussex County where the mountains are and everything.
Oh, well, that's even probably colder.
But, you know, we're starting off the show au naturel.
There we are.
Sunlight, fresh air, no air conditioning required. And it's all good so far. I just want to say before I start reading that the debut, the Time Warner TV taping of D2W Pro Wrestling was rescheduled from October 1st to October 22nd. So I couldn't, yours truly, James Piranha Madonna, could not make his debut naturally because it was rescheduled. Some reasons involving, from what I hear, the Wallkill Valley High School in Hamburg, New Jersey. So it was rescheduled, which means that there is more time to promote this historic event because it will be the first official Time Warner TV taping with myself doing color commentary, James P. Madonna, along with my new co-host, the well-established, distinguished broadcaster, Mr. Erwin Benz of Benzie Promotions, and he will be with me with his Hawaiian shirts, and he's trying to find a new hat. A white hat would go with the Hawaiian shirts, and myself and others in the organization have encouraged him to choose a white fedora. Well, as you can hear, the assholes and idiots outside talking loudly are mostly kids. You hear it. Now, if they continue with their mouths, I will have to close the hatch, close the door, and we won't have au naturel. Well, let's just play it by ear. Let's see if the bastards shut their fucking mouths. I am a professional, a true professional. Of course, this is corporate and FCC-free internet talk radio, so I am allowed to use general language that may be offensive to the ears of certain people. So that's why our live stream internet talk radio station channel is posted to be only for people over the age of 18 and not under. Of course, if I have to use my shillelagh to shut them up, I will. Now, or if I get into a fight with them, it'll be on video on demand. Now, I'm not sure if where you live, whoever is viewing this show, when they see it, of course, because it is pre-recorded, and it will be video on demand. But whatever region you happen to be in, I'm not sure how accurate your weatherman or weatherwoman is on television. Well, the ones in the New York metropolitan area that take care of the area of New Jersey, the region of New Jersey that we are from, which is northeastern New Jersey, they're not so accurate. they make a lot of mistakes. You know, they have they're well dressed. They got a suit and tie on. If it's a man, if it's a woman, they're very well dressed, and they have a big smile, big pearly white teeth smile, and they try to be funny. They try to be cute. I think that's what they pay them for, and from what I understand, they all get their information from the National Weather Bureau. Well, lo and behold, they are often very inaccurate, especially with 5-day weather forecasts. You can't go by that. I only go by 1 or 2 days beforehand. Now, if you want to get real accurate weather and you want to use something that I used when Hurricane Irene came up here, you'll get one of these. It's a weather radio alert. NOAA radio. I got this one from Radio Shack many years ago because I used to do a lot of fishing, surf fishing, and you have to know when high tide is to successfully fish on the beach or off a pier. It's the rule of thumb is 2 hours before high tide to 2 hours after high tide. That is the ideal range to fish from land. Salt water, not fresh water. All right, here you go. Now I just want to say there's an alarm here where you can shut it off and put it on alarm, and if something serious is coming, it'll go on automatically. Used to have a real human voice doing this, but they decided to go with the robotic voice because so they don't have to pay the human being. They get the wonderful government gets to lay off more people, so they're using the robotic voices.
What kind of batteries?
Huh?
What kind of batteries?
I think it's a couple double A's. I'll let you know right now. Hold on. I'm letting you know right now. Oh, 3 double A's.
3. Very good.
I may have to use my shillelagh on some noggins out there. You got some obnoxious assholes interfering with my high esteem internet talk radio show. There you go. It updates like every 3 hours. It updates every 3 hours. It's absolutely pinpoint accuracy from NOAA. Right from the source, man. So all these cutie pies that are trying to give you the weather, and with the Latin news stations, they use women with large breasts and they show a lot of cleavage. To get all the guys to watch, right?
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Is that why Fox News has all those blondes?
Oh, they have like waspy looking girls?
Are you kidding? They're loaded with blondes.
They don't like minority women, Fox, right?
I don't know if they don't. Well,
they don't
Fox,
like. Yeah,
Fox. I would, probably think that.
What? They're all blondes. They're all wasps.
They're all blondes.
Waspy.
They're all blondes.
They're very, because Fox News is conservative, conservatism, Republicans, corporatism, elitists. They just happen to be predominantly white, Caucasian, waspy people, right?
Well, that's like the people who they attract.
People with money. There you go. So that's it. NOAA weather. Get yourself one of these, and to hell with these jerks on TV that are wrong all the time. Excuse me. Let me put me NOAA weather radio in the proper place. All right, now back at the ranch. This woman, this is a little upsetting. This woman was fired by Walmart for opening up and eating a bag of potato chips that she paid for. She had a receipt for it. And I believe this was in the Latin news. She paid for the potato chips, and she was eating the potato chips on the job that she paid for because she had a diabetic attack. And I imagine, Dr. Bill, that a diabetic attack meant that her blood sugar suddenly crashed dangerously low.
Yeah, low blood sugar, yep.
Yeah, and she was feeling sick. So she had to eat the potato chips that she paid for. She wasn't shoplifting. So she got fired for that. You know what? I think she has a lawsuit. If she has a bona fide, she's a diabetic and she had to eat the potato chips. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't get the full story, but Walmart has donated billions of dollars or something to supposedly help women.
Hold on,
shape or form.
To help.
You can't hear it over here.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
These fucking assholes out there, they don't shut the fuck up. Bunch of jerks, I swear. Well, so much for au naturel, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
For today.
Yeah, well, it was nice while it lasts. Maybe they'll go away later on. Anyway, what you were saying about Walmart's policy?
A lot of billions of dollars or something to help women, because they won that case against women, and there's a lot of complaints against them.
Excuse me.
You know?
Something else I forgot to do. Yeah. There's always something, because I was a little bit late getting here. There's always something I forget. Anyway, the poor woman had a diabetic attack, low blood sugar. She needed to eat the potato chips. It's sad. Now, on a slightly lighter note, this obese man, I hear this obese man is suing White Castle for not providing the extra large, humongous seat for his fat ass to accommodate his posterior, because I guess he couldn't sit at a booth like normal people. He wanted a chair, and he's suing White Castle for not providing that, almost like the obese man considered himself handicapped, disabled. I don't consider obesity a disability, because they chose to be obese through bad eating habits. It is not like somebody has, let's say, post-polio syndrome or muscular dystrophy or multiple sclerosis or had an injury due to an accident, paralysis. No,
yeah, but
this man chose to be obese, and he knows better.
It's neither here nor there, because if he's obese, he probably can't do steps, he can't do doorways.
But he chose to be obese.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is
he gorged the wrong food.
If he's in a situation where he can't do these things, then probably he is considered disabled.
Nah, well, I have to differ.
But how he got there, that's, people get there. They're drug addicts, they're alcoholics, they can be disabled.
That's their problem. They have choices in life before them. They don't have to be addicted to drugs and cigarettes and alcoholism or obesity.
You're sounding like a Republican.
No, but it's true. It's true.
No, it's not true, because what are you going to do?
I don't feel sorry for them.
Are they going to die on the street? How are they going to get taken?
But I don't have sympathy for them, because they created their situation.
Well, everybody creates their situations, if you want to say that,
No, what about
we go into a situation, we get a germ or something like that. We get it's not like polio.
But it's an accident, or you're born into having the disability.
Why would we want to?
That deserves sympathy.
Why would we want to cut and dice? Who is disabled? What is disabled? Boo ba 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 boo ba ba ba.
Yeah.
The point is that how he arrived at the situation is not really relevant, except in the long term. What he needs now to take care of a disability, or allow him to do certain things that a normal person will be able to do. That's the problem right now.
Well,
how he got there, that's different. I mean, you could say that. I mean, the Republicans say that the poor are there because they, by themselves. They did it. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, etc.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's no jobs out there.
Yeah, but see, you can see that part of that situation. But these situations they have more ramifications than just that he ate too much. He could have a thyroid problem. Who knows?
You know what? That's why they call this gentleman the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, founder of Newsletters Censored in 1977. Well, I got to be a little open-minded, and you enlighten me a little bit here.
And,
so I learned something. Yeah.
And there's the other part of that. I, being who I am, would never
become obese.
No, allow or give any more power than they already have to any corporation.
Oh, I hate corporations, and I hate corporate CEOs. They fired recently the CEO of Yahoo, and it was some woman. I was so happy because Yahoo is getting their ass kicked big time by Google, as far as the search engine goes. But Yahoo's homepage is so confusingly busy, and it's like all it is just crammed with advertisements. So it seems to me that this broad, this woman, this former CEO of Yahoo, was just concerned about, making moolah and not making the website user-friendly or effectively compete with Google. But I'm glad they canned her. But anyway, moving on. I'm so annoyed at these commercials. You know how much I also despise the American food industry. They're so full of crap. This food industry, I'm so sick of this commercial by a yogurt company called Activia. First of all, it's downsized.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis.
She owns that?
No, she's the spokesperson there.
They downsized the portion from a half a cup, 8 ounces, now to a little shot glass of 6 ounces. That's the first part. The second part is, first they start advertising regular yogurt. Downsized, of course. I don't know what you can do with 6 ounces of yogurt. I mean, I could eat a whole quart of friggin' yogurt at one sitting by myself. But anyway.
But Activity is supposed to be a probiotic.
Yeah, but naturally all yogurt should have live probiotics.
If they're not pasteurized.
I like Stonyfields from Vermont. Anyway, it's organic. Now, first they start advertising regular yogurt. Then they start advertising Greek yogurt. Yeah. Which is yogurt with extra milk fat added to it, extra cream. And now they're advertising French yogurt, Greek yogurt, French yogurt. What's next? Russian yogurt, Japanese. No, they don't really eat dairy products. Bulgarian yogurt. Armenian yogurt. Give me a break. It's all marketing bullshit. It's all snake oil salesmanship. Now, moving on. Recently, and shockingly, former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner, his seat had to be replaced. They had an election, and New York City is traditionally Democrat, progressive, But guess what? The New York City Jews, with their spokesperson that went on TV, Rabbi, I think his name is Dov Hikind or something. They voted. They crossed party lines, and they all voted for the Republican, against their best interest, of course. They voted conservative to replace Anthony Weiner's seat with a Republican because, why? Because Anthony Weiner was a Democrat, and because the real reason is primarily because Obama is pro-Palestine, pro-Palestinian, and they feel he's...
What does that have to do with the guy that was running Weprin?
Yeah, now do you see how Americans are, in terms of fanaticism and clanism? Like red state holy rollers will only vote Republican because They are pro-life. You know, they're zealot religious fanaticism. They, like, in other words,
Yeah.
they are fanatics, and they march in lockstep to a certain ideology, and they don't look at the overall picture. They don't take a big step backward and look at the overall picture. And they end up voting against their best interest because of their fanaticism. In this case, Jews and American Jews just care about people that support Israel and neglect the Palestinians because they don't care. It's like a selfishness, isn't it?
I still don't know what any of that has to do with Weprin.
What does that have to do with Weprin replacing Anthony Weiner? I mean, I don't think it's a big deal for Palestinians to have their own state. So it's a little strip of land. What is it, the Gaza Strip? So what? What's the big deal? See how selfish human nature is?
That's another matter.
That's another matter.
They had land there. They fought against Israel, and they lost the land.
They lost it. All right. On a little bit lighter note, South Africa ordered 11 million condoms from mainland China, I guess to save money, right? Guess what? The condoms are too small for the, I guess, the Caucasian and South African black penises. This is actually funny.
Oh, God.
Let me take my glasses off of this. This is so freaking funny. But it's true. 11 million condoms. So what do they have to do? Like send them back? Of course not the used ones. You know, I mean the ones that are still in the wrapper. 11 million condoms.
There must be some used ones because they had to find out that they were too small.
Excuse me, my shillelagh. I suppose what they're trying to say is, the company in mainland China that made the condoms probably made them to accommodate
Asians.
The average Asian penis,
yeah,
not the schlong of other races.
Yeah.
You know, the stiff shillelagh of other races. So, I guess they had to send them back. Oh boy, that is too funny but true. Anyway, Mr. Christie.
Uh-oh.
Guess what? Here, listen to this. The MTV hit show, Jersey Shore, costs New Jersey taxpayers $420,000 per year, you know. But New Jersey and Chris Christie, of course, doesn't have money for food pantries, for homestead rebate for the elderly and for handicapped people. They don't have money for Planned Parenthood. They don't have money for the poor, for social programs to support the poor, but they have $420,000 in New Jersey taxpayers' money for the cast of Jersey Shore to pay for their fake tanning and their tanning sessions and all the other shenanigans and escapades that the Jersey Shore cast gets involved with. Isn't that kind of peculiar, my friend?
Priorities.
Priorities. Business gets
Republican priorities is business. That's true.
And as stupid as it may be, the MTV hit Jersey Shore, which I guess is filmed predominantly in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, is a form of big business.
Yeah, because it brings in a lot of business for the state.
But I guess spending a few dollars on the poor is not good for Republican Governor Chris Christie. No, he don't like that. He don't like that. Nah, he don't like that. Now, the last thing I want to mention is kind of interesting. It's definitely a good subject for debate. Recently, of course, I was on the computer doing important things, but I noticed that on TV, somebody at home was channel surfing, and they happened to stop at the Dr. Phil show. And Dr. Phil had an interesting guest. It was an Asian man, Asian American man who graduated from MIT, very smart guy. And he started a company, which I believe he calls it Sugar Daddy and Sugar Mommy. Sugar Daddy. It is a dating website for women, for attractive young women only who are looking for a wealthy older man. And wealthy older men that are looking for an attractive younger woman. Hence the name Sugar Daddy and Sugar Mommy. So what these other people that were against the website had said on the Dr. Phil show, and Dr. Phil agreed with them, that this was a form of, glorified prostitution, that this was illegal. And they read the ads that were on the website posted by women, and it sounded just like prostitution ads. The way, the wording, they were very sexually oriented. It wasn't about love. And I assume the high income older gentlemen that pay the fee to join this, I'm sure they know why the women are interested in them, and they're aware of it, that they might be being used. They're used, because it's true, they are being used. It's not for love. And it can be prostitution. It's not an exchange. See, I have to disagree with the woman, the feminist, that was really yelling about this. It's not an exchange. They're not like saying, okay, it's the end of the date, let's jump in bed. Okay, but before we jump in bed, here's some cash. And, exchange of money for sex. I don't think that's happening.
Not fair.
I'm sure the guy buys gifts for the woman that he's dating through the website. Might take her on vacation. He buys her dinner, drinks, and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think there is an exchange for, of sex for money like it would be between a prostitute and a John. But, of course, the man who started the business is making money hand over fist. And, it is a form of glorified prostitution. It's not nice for people to use one another, but what I'm trying to say is you can't really arrest them, because these are two consenting adults that know what they're getting into when they join the website and they pay their fee. I mean, they know it's about people using each other. The older guy gets a hot hoochie, a hot young chick to bang, and the young chick doesn't really have to worry about a career or getting a real job, because she has herself a rich older boyfriend that she might get married to and end up on his life insurance policy or whatever. And you know how it goes. So they're consenting adults, Dr. Bill. That's what I'm trying to say.
The point is that you can also get to the real point there. Prostitution should be not illegal anyway.
That is true.
That again is two people,
right?
Freedom.
Excuse me.
Doing what they want with their bodies,
right?
But of course you got the religious nuts and Republicans who are always looking to tell you, and women especially, what to do with their bodies.
With their bodies. It is their bodies. Just like with the right to life, pro-choice, a fertilized egg or an embryo that breathes like a fish is not a human being. But the right wing seems to feel it is. But getting back to prostitution, if a woman needs to pay the bills and she can't find a job in this wonderful job market that we have here in the United States, and I'm being sarcastic, if she can't make ends meet and she's attractive and she wishes to go that route instead of, getting a minimum wage job, hey man, it's her body.
More power to her.
She's taking the risks. She knows the risks when you go into a certain profession. And to me it's a victimless crime. Like marijuana, it's very frivolous prostitution.
But it shouldn't be a crime.
No, it shouldn't be.
Right.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. It went back and forth. One side said it was prostitution, the other side said it wasn't, and
nothing was resolved.
Nothing was resolved. Of course, it is about two consenting adults that know what they're getting into, that know they're being exploited and used, but they don't care because, The older guy gets to bang the young chick, and the young chick gets money.
Money to go to college.
Like a whore. You know, I mean, I don't know. I guess, what, would you consider women to be more materialistic than men by nature, psychologically?
No.
Because women care a lot about...
We live in a materialistic society.
They're preoccupied with a man's job,
Everybody's
career, you know.
Everybody's materialistic in this society. You have to be. It's forced on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, they're very... instead of getting to know the person...
Unless you're in a monastery.
True.
And it's still forced on you because some monasteries have to bake bread, you know, to get through the day.
Yeah. Well, look at what we said a while ago, that homeless people are ignored. And people just...
Well, of course.
Nobody cares what a homeless person has to say, you know, because they're invisible.
Homeless vets are ignored. 17,000 in Florida living on the bridges in tents. Come on.
Like trolls. They're invisible. If you don't have money in America, you're invisible. So that proves Dr. Bill's point about we're living, unfortunately, materialism is forced upon us by this capitalist society. And people just don't care what you have to say if you have no... That's part of the reason, you know. I don't know, but I just find women are very preoccupied with a man's job and career instead of getting to know who he is inside, heart and soul, you know. But anyway, let us begin with the first article for discussions, progressive discussions.
You were speaking about Mr. Christie.
Mm-hmm.
The latest official proposal by the Christie administration to overhaul Medicaid, the federal state insurance program for the poor, reverses an earlier, much criticized plan to close the program to some adults. But it still aims to give the state more flexibility to make decisions about who is eligible and what benefits they get, and to apply the cost-saving strategies of private insurance to the government program. The state spends about $5 billion of its nearly $30 billion annual budget on the health care program for the aged, blind, disabled, and poor. An amount which has grown by 18% over the last 3 years. Two major changes were made when the reform plan was submitted Friday. Applications will still be accepted for state-subsidized family care insurance for parents whose income is up to 133% of the federal poverty level, or up to $2,477 monthly for a family of 4. Originally, the administration had said it would freeze enrollment and not accept new applications from this group. The change means an estimated 20,000 more adults will be able to get coverage. A $25 copay for each non-emergency trip to the emergency room by Medicaid patients has been eliminated. A study group... Why is it that the poor are always given monetary things like fines, copays? They're poor.
Yeah.
They don't have money.
Well, Esmeralda said, I couldn't believe it. In Colombia, South America, at a hospital, the hospital administration refused to let these poor parents take their child home. They basically are keeping this child captive because the poor parents owe the hospital $30 and they don't have the money to pay, so they're pretty much holding the child captive, like kidnapping. That sounds very capitalistic.
It sounds devilish.
Devilishly capitalistic in the worst scenario. Like, let's say the U.S. was completely controlled by conservatives after a while. They might just do something like that.
Of course they would.
Well, they want to enslave the mainstream America and have you work for free.
That's it.
With no benefits. Why not hold your child captive? Oh, you owe us $30. How greedy, how miserable, how devilish. The people are poor. They're poor. It's health care. Whatever happened to, like, Hippocratic oath and compassion and, it's health care. There's a sick kid. Man, they don't have the $30. You see what's going on here, man?
Certainly. A study group will look into other ways to encourage those patients to visit primary care doctors or health centers rather than the emergency room. Again, how are they going to do that without money? It's kind of funny in a really bad way.
Sick way, yeah.
Medicaid is a program.
Bizarro world.
That's it. Bizarro world. Medicaid is a program that was put into effect to help poor people.
Right. Even though Medicaid, unfortunately, and I think they do it deliberately to sabotage itself, Medicaid does not pay physicians anywhere near what they're worth for a reasonable fair fee for the doctor.
Because there's always being cut.
I mean, I heard they give a chiropractor like $5 for one visit.
Wow.
Medicaid patient to a chiropractor, $5. That's like your uncle giving you money when you're a kid. Here, kid, go buy yourself something.
Yeah, here's your.
I mean,
what do they call
come
it?
On.
When your
allowance?
father gives, your allowance.
A child's allowance. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. What's the term in the insurance business? A reasonable and customary fee. Paying a doctor for a reasonable and customary amount. Like $5 is not reasonable. It's not customary. But Medicaid, see, they create these social programs when they exist. Of course, if they don't exist, like when Christie cuts them, terminates them, they don't exist. Okay, but when they exist, they're loaded with flaws because they're designed to be that way. They're not getting the funding. They're not funded properly, and they're not funded properly because, Dr. Bill, I'm going to say something. They're not funded. The social programs are not funded properly because the rich are not paying their taxes. The rich, the elitists, the corporate CEOs, all these people are not paying their fair share in taxes. Many are not paying any taxes. So therefore, there's no funding for the poor.
The money that is there goes elsewhere.
Oh, but when Wall Street, when the fat cats need some welfare, when they need welfare, they sure get it, don't they, from Washington?
Correct. The changes came in response to criticism of the original proposal. Freezing family care enrollment had received the most negative feedback. The program had been closed to those with incomes higher than the 133% of poverty. The biggest news of all is we were able to preserve access to services for everyone who is now served. The change in eligibility should be paid for by an increased level of federal support. Rather than current level of 65% federal funding, which is to drop to 50% at the beginning of the year, the application asks federal authorities for a 75% share immediately and an 85% share in 2013. That would bring a savings to the state of $32 million, compared with the $9 million savings anticipated in the original proposal. It's going to be an uphill fight, like a lot of things, to get additional federal funding. It's good news that eligibility is not going to be changed. The waiver application provides a starting point for negotiation with the federal government. But of course the federal government is loaded with people who say, no.
No?
No.
No.
Yeah, the no Congress. The no do anything Congress. The do nothing Congress.
Do nothing.
Other states are due to receive higher federal subsidies when they enroll previously uninsured individuals in Medicaid. But New Jersey was being penalized because it expanded eligibility for its program years earlier. New Jersey also asks for federal permission to use managed care plans to oversee the health care of patients who receive long-term care and behavioral health care through Medicaid. Until now, these groups had been covered through traditional fee-for-service insurance. The managed care plans will aim to help individuals stay in their communities rather than become institutionalized. The waiver will enable New Jersey Medicaid to implement new strategies to improve primary care through accountable care organizations or networks of doctors and hospitals that are reimbursed more for managing the maintenance and screening of chronically ill patients in a way that avoids hospitalization.
Huh.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, don't you just love the American healthcare system? Oh, it's so wonderful. Republicans will tell you it's the best.
The best in the world.
In the world. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, like better than what the European Union has? Give me a break.
No.
I mean, you know, even Cuba, which, you know, can't get all the supplies it needs because of that stupid embargo that Republicans put on them. G.W. Bush probably. They can't get all the supplies.
Waiting for that. It's almost 40 years old or something.
Yeah, I mean, even Cuba has a better healthcare system, in my opinion, than the United States. But you're trying to compare your healthcare system with, like, let's say, Germany, who uses. Are they still using alternative medicine to treat people?
Well, they were for a while there until that stupid.
You know, like ozone therapy, I think, for cat cancer.
Stupid law which limits vitamins and minerals potencies. Got to go to the doctor to get a prescription if you need like a vitamin C more than 60 milligrams or something.
Yeah, well, for instance, an example, if you have brain cells that are killed that are dead, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a perfect example of alternative medicine where they can grow, they can rejuvenate the brain cells with hyperbaric oxygen. And chelation therapy used in a cardiovascular way for cardio patients. Chelation therapy, if you have too much heavy metals in your blood, another example. So on and so on. The detox for stimulating the immune system. I think Suzanne Summers received an extract of mistletoe that supposedly cured her breast cancer because you don't hear about it anymore. She was saying she was given that. I'm sure she was given other things. But, you know, the list goes on and on. Dr. Gary Null has cured many pancreatic cancer patients with natural medicine.
Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Also, he's reversed Alzheimer's? Maureen
McGovern. He's the only case that was ever cured.
Really?
Yeah.
Gary Null himself did it?
Gary Null and his protocol.
Wow. How about that? I know Esmeralda has a testimony that her uncle in Colombia was totally recovered from Alzheimer's dementia by taking noni fruit, the South Pacific Islands noni. The elixir, they call it the elixir of life. He was just drinking. It wasn't even a standardized extract. He was drinking the juice, the concentrate. Made a complete recovery. You know, I mean, oh God. You know, Republicans or Tea Party middle-class people will tell you, oh, there are industries that are doing quite well in today's economy. Sure, there are. The pharmaceutical industry, you know,
oil and gas.
Oil and gas, right? The petroleum. I mean, you know, all the evil industries are doing well because it's the devil's world. It's Satan's world. All right, we have to take a break because why? Well, you probably know by now. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman's gastronomic delight, known as lunch, food, sustenance.
Yeah. Brunch.
Yeah, which is followed by
I might have a low blood sugar attack.
Which is followed by high green tea. So we're going to take that break. Hi-yo! Greetings. We're back, and you know, my mentor and co-host, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, is enjoying his lunch, his gastronomic delight. Now, Time for a little promo. This gentleman next to me here, this is a watercolor painting, a fine watercolor self-portrait painting of my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, because the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, my co-host and mentor, is a fine watercolor artist. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection by going to newslettercensored.com or visiting the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile. If you like one of his paintings, you can email him and ask him if it's still available. And if it's still available, you can purchase an authentic William J. Eisenman watercolor painting, the one of your choice, signed by William J. Eisenman, and the bidding starts at $500. Now, time for the backbone of this organization. Newsletter Censored. Censored, founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It discusses the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. It is the kind of information that people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? Just simply go to newslettercensored.com. Read the hard-hitting information. Click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. It is very unique. It is very hard-hitting. It is unlike anything in the mainstream media or the mainstream press. You're not going to hear or read any of this information in the mainstream media, simply because the mainstream media is corporate controlled. Corporate and FCC controlled, mostly corporate because of sponsors. They have to become, I guess, otherwise they lose their jobs. The mainstream media has to become corporate whores. I guess kind of like the two-party system politicians in Washington, right? But we answer to no one. So that's it. Newsletter Censored. It starts off with the political monologue. In this case, it's the recent, but there's a new issue coming out that Dr. Bill's working on. Right now, this is a sample of the previous issue, the one that's been out. Volume number 116, This Country Was Never a Christian Nation, by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. Okay, sometimes it's followed by tidbits, which there has to be room for it. You know, in this case, there was no room. Then we have The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, which tells you what the Bible really has to say, not what right-wing conservative fundamentalist counterfeit Christians tell you that the Bible says, not what people like Harold Camping or Pat Robertson or Joel Osteen or that other goofball, what's his name, Benny Hinn? Or any of these mainstream popular evangelists, what they tell you what the Bible says. This is what the Bible really has to say. Okay. Followed by Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. So, get your annual subscription right now by going to newslettercensored.com. This is the best way to be a part of our organization, the very best way to be a part of our organization, the very best way to join our organization is to get your annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. And you will also see Dr. Bill for President at newslettercensored.com. And it's a write-in campaign. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman has ran for president 2 or 3 times before?
Yes.
3 times? Or 2 times? 3 times, right?
2 times president.
1
time governor.
2 times for president, 1 time for governor as a write-in.
Yep.
And like myself, William J. Eisenman PhD, strongly believes that we need to get, in order to get politics out of politics, we need to get money out of politics. Greed, which is the most important word to a right-wing conservative.
But they don't consider themselves greedy.
Corporatists.
Yeah.
What do they consider it? If it's not greed, what is it?
Whitewash, whatever it is. They think they're doing God's business.
Oh, God's business is making money, exploiting people, and starving out the poor and taking away social programs from the poor. That's God's business. But there's nothing like that in the Bible.
You heard Rick Perry say, Scary Perry, programs like Social Security make us weak.
All right, so what do people do? What do people do when the rent is like, or the mortgage is like $1,500 a month, and the bills are coming in, and you need to eat, and there's no jobs out there? What do you do?
Pray.
You know, it's funny you mentioned pray. Last night, during channel surfing, I come across this very freakish-looking woman. She happened to be a TV evangelist. She had a lot of people in the arena. I'm not sure what her name is, but she had blonde hair. She had like a gallon of hairspray in her hair. Her hair was stiff as a board, standing up high, huge big hair. She had really, really super duper long fake eyelashes like Tammy Faye Baker, but it wasn't Tammy Faye. And she had humongous earrings like the size of hubcaps. She was a friggin' freak. And she's giving this bullshit like, oh, I was walking in my garden in the backyard, and I decided to start to pray. I felt I needed to pray for people a lot worse off than us. We're praying for you. You know what? It sounded like what my aunt and uncle, my conservative aunt and uncle says. We'll pray for you. The poor doesn't need your prayer, little Miss Evangelist. What they need is for you to take some of that moolah, some of those donations that you get, which I'm sure are maybe in the hundreds of thousands, if not more, and you need to take that money from the donations to your ministry and help feed the poor and the homeless and take care of people a lot worse off than us. Not just pray. I mean, if you're a real Christian, you wouldn't be hoarding that money. You'd be helping the poor with that money. What's your take on these people?
Strange thing. These people...
Excuse me.
They don't want government to support the poor.
No.
But they want government to give them money so that they can help the poor.
It's bizarro world, man.
The initiatives in all the states.
Yeah.
And in the federal government. There's federal government money that's going to religious organizations. Even in the state of New Jersey. There's an Office of Faith-Based Initiatives in New Jersey.
Yeah, well, hey, even Ken Create agreed with me 100% last night. Sitting around and praying for the poor doesn't necessarily put clothes on the back and feed the poor and put a roof over their head.
Well,
you got action, works. Action takes care of
Works.
the poor. God will, in this case, God works through Christians or people with compassion on earth, and they have money and they're financially independent, so they donate money, and the donation money goes to helping the poor. That's how God operates through good people on this earth, through Christians, if they claim to be real Christians. Now, this
in
woman,
ancient Israel, everybody who grew crops, when they had their harvest, they were supposed to leave part of the harvest on the perimeters of their land for the poor, the widowed, the orphans, etc.
But doesn't the Bible say if a poor man is starving and steals a loaf of bread, he should be pardoned?
No.
It doesn't say that?
No. No, that's our interpretation, and we don't think he should be pardoned. We think he should be put to death.
What does the Bible say? Should be put?
Doesn't say anything about that.
You mean conservatives will
you
want?
Must be able. The Bible doesn't have to say something directly. When it tells you that if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, sell all you own and give it to the poor. What the hell does that mean?
It means what it sounds like.
If you got 2 coats, give them both to the poor. What the hell is it saying?
The Bible always tells the rich to give to the poor and help the poor. Jesus said that.
It's not telling them to give to the poor. It's telling them to uplift the poor to their level. That's what it's telling them.
What's the same as giving to the poor?
No, it isn't.
Synonymous.
Because they give to the poor a few dollars or whatever.
Oh,
that's not
deal.
what the Bible's saying.
Oh, big
when the
deal.
Bible says, sell all you own and give it to the poor. What is that saying?
That is saying that you are to help, if you're wealthy, you are to help take the poor out of their plight, out of their present condition, and transform their impoverished condition into
your level.
Into a lifestyle that is befitting a human being, a decent life. I don't mean that, everybody should be wealthy on the planet.
Why not?
But, if there's enough wealth to go around, yeah, but what I'm saying is...
Why can't everybody be content? They will be in the millennium.
Yeah, content.
Well,
content
with
having a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini, and a Ferrari is not what I think God feels is proper contentment. Not like Joel Osteen probably thinks.
You'll have your own land. You'll have your own business.
Yeah, but one does not need a mansion, a Ferrari, a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini, a BMW, and a Mercedes.
Those are the materialistic, devilish things. The devil thinks he should have been. The devil thinks he could have taken over God's throne.
Right.
Come on. But the point is, the wealthy are not commanded to give a little to the poor. They are commanded to give all to the poor. If they want to enter the kingdom of heaven. If they just want to enjoy their life here, hey, then buy your Lamborghinis and your Rolls Royces.
Well, obviously, the Bible tells them directly what they need to do. But for some reason, when they go on TV and they start crying and looking up and waving their arms in the air, ooh, obviously, it doesn't come out of their mouth that, we all need to get out there and physically, monetarily help the poor. They just say, oh, we're praying for you.
Because that
ain't doing anything.
If they took it to its ultimate conclusion, they would see that the economics of our country, who are supposed to be a beacon on the hill, don't work for everybody. They work for the top 20%. Okay, our system, our economic system. It works for them, but it ain't working for the bottom 80%. So it's obviously not a good system. But God forbid that they should criticize capitalism when they believe it's like a religion. You can't criticize it. And by the way, Obama's a socialist. That's what they say.
He's a socialist. He's a
corporatist.
He's a business person. He's a corporatist, just like Bill Clinton, was.
Yeah.
If he was a socialist, he would have been screaming like me, like James Piranha Madonna. He would have been screaming from day one about the public option for health care. He wouldn't have put that on the back burner. I would have told, first of all, I would have exposed Senators Dodd and Baucus for being traitors to the Democrats and their voters for saying no to the public option. I would have tore them a new asshole. I would have tore the Republicans a new asshole. I would have tore any Democrat that voted no for a public option and for health care reform a new asshole. If he was a true socialist and he cared about his voters, he wouldn't have let that go not only on the back burner, but it kind of like disappeared from the stove altogether. He wouldn't have let it go. He wouldn't have let it go.
Well,
so I would have told the insurance companies, hey, you worried about losing profit because of the public option and healthcare reform? You know what? Tough toenails. That's the way the crab cake crumbles, man.
yeah, well, they don't.
Too bad. Screw you. I would have told the insurance companies.
The Congress, etc., doesn't see their socialism when they give tax breaks and subsidies to profitable companies.
There you go. Wall Street bailouts, welfare for the rich. Oh, that's not socialism.
No.
But helping the poor is socialism. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. And it's also funny how still to this day, most people on the internet are still looking at the stupidest, most asinine videos on God's green earth and not watching things that are important. People are still, what is it, in denial to the problems that
because they're on the internet. For 85% of the people on the internet are there for entertainment.
What about people finding out what's happening in their country and in their state?
Well, believe me, they're not going to find it in mainstream media.
No.
If you want to find something out honestly about the United States, you better watch the BBC or some foreign
That's right.
news organization. But you're not going to hear it from, our organization.
No, not at all. Isn't it funny how the American media kind of like sweeps things under the carpet? Isn't that funny? Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Continuing with the articles. We have a good solid 30 minutes, or give or take.
North Jersey's ash trees appear to have escaped at least one more summer unscathed by an invasive beetle that has caused serious damage in 15 states, including neighboring Pennsylvania and New York.
This is the second week you've read articles about a beetle-like insect. Are you sure you're not
We're being invaded.
Are you sure you're not Beetlejuice?
We're being
in disguise
invaded.
of Dr. Bill?
State and federal agricultural department officials hung 700 glue-streaked purple traps in ash trees throughout Bergen, Passaic, Morris, and other counties to see whether the emerald ash borer beetle had arrived in the state this summer.
So I guess the ash trees have literally got it up the ash.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Nearly all the traps have been examined and none of the beetles were found.
Love you, yeah, with a love like
But
that. I know. You should start wearing like a beetle wig with the
it was
bangs.
finally found in West Point, New York.
Oh,
So it's getting closer.
Isn't that the U.S. Military Academy?
The beetle's recent arrival in New York's Catskill region also heightened worry that it would soon attack North Jersey stands of ash trees. Ash tree concentrations in New Jersey tend to be in the northern part of the state. It is also commonly used as a street shade tree. And Louisville Slugger famously uses the wood to make baseball bats.
That is true. The ash wood is used to make baseball bats.
The traps were hung every 2 miles or so in ash trees in state parks, forests, and natural lands.
You're not as hard and tough as me blackthorn shillelagh or the hickory Persian clubs that I have at home made of high quality hickory.
The traps were purple because the beetle is attracted to that color.
Really? Purple?
There are no natural predators for the beetle, which is native to China and other parts of Asia.
But
I wonder how it got here.
Yeah, I wonder how it got here, and also I wonder how they were able to determine that this insect was most attracted to the color purple, morada in Spanish. I wonder why. I wonder why. Purple is not a common color in nature, is it? Not at all. The only thing I can think of offhand that's really purple is the beautiful American wildflower known as echinacea.
Or grape.
Echinacea. Well, grape would be, Concord grapes
Concord.
would be a very, very deep
purple.
purple. Was that a rock band at one time?
No, it was a song.
Deep purple, okay.
Something.
Or Purple Haze. Purple Haze, that was Prince, right?
What? That was Hendrix, right?
No, Jimi Hendrix. I'm sorry.
Hendrix, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Purple Haze.
Yes.
And also there was one by Prince. Prince did something with purple.
Purple Rain?
Purple Rain, yeah.
Purple. I like purple, but it's not. It's kind of a amethyst. The semi-precious gemstone amethyst is the only purple gemstone in existence. So purple is not common. But somehow science was able to decide this beetle liked purple.
The insects are small and hard to detect, and ash trees often don't show signs of stress until several years after infestation. Signs of infection include die-off at a tree's crown and new shoots sprouting at the tree's base. The metallic green insect first showed up in the U.S. near Detroit in 2002. It is just a matter of time before the beetle hits New Jersey's ash trees. They probably came over in a container from China.
Since so many products are coming off cargo ships from mainland China, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
The cartoon character SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, I love that cartoon. Mr. Krabby, Eugene Krabs,
who lives
his
at the
boss.
bottom of the sea in a pineapple.
Yeah.
Is in hot water.
He is.
From a study suggesting that watching just 9 minutes of that program can cause short-term attention and learning problems in 4-year-olds.
So that means I should be like unable to do this show, since I watch SpongeBob a lot.
I happen to have watched SpongeBob.
It's cute. They're
And
sea creatures.
It is the movement between scene and scene is too rapid.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to actually hit on something, concentrate on something.
But
it
the
moves.
but
from
the
scene to scene too
SpongeBob and his friend Patrick are two imbeciles. They are very stupid. They are retarded. They are really bad. No, they are downright real stupid, and they drive their neighbor Squidward, who's a squid, by the way, who lives in a tiki statue house. Well, Patrick's a starfish. He lives under a rock, but they drive Squidward nuts. Squidward works at the place of business that makes Krabby Patties, owned by Eugene Krabs, who's the cheapest bastard. He's like a
under the sea.
He's the cheapest bastard. One of the cheapest. He's a perfect satire of a cheap and greedy and stingy conservative business owner in America. But he's in the form of a crab, and he's red. And Squidward works there. He's like the host, and Squidward is intelligent, but he just gets a migraine all the time from SpongeBob and Patrick. But anyway, I have a starfish in my saltwater tropical nano reef aquarium. He's a chocolate chip starfish. But anyway, continue.
The problems were seen in a study of 60 children randomly assigned to either watch SpongeBob or the slower-paced PBS cartoon Caillou.
I don't know about that.
Caillou.
Well, SpongeBob is on Nickelodeon, I believe. Nickelodeon, iCarly.
What it could Caillou?
Callaloo is a green similar to kale or collard greens from consumed by the West Indies.
Oh, that's, yeah, the meal, yeah.
Callaloo. It's greens, like collards. Yeah.
I guess that's the name of the cartoon.
Callaloo.
Or they were assigned to draw pictures. Immediately after these 9-minute assignments, the kids took mental function tests. Those who had watched SpongeBob did measurably worse than the others. Previous research has linked TV watching with long-term attention problems in children. But the new study suggests more immediate problems can occur after very little exposure. Results that parents of young kids should be alert to. Kids' cartoon shows typically feature about 22 minutes of action. So watching a full program could be more detrimental.
Gee, I must be in big trouble then.
Oh, yeah. But they said more evidence is needed to confirm that. The results should be interpreted cautiously because of the study's small size.
I love the Three Stooges too. Some might consider that idiotic, but
yes, but the Three Stooges they're slower paced
and very witty.
It's the pace of the cartoon.
Way ahead of their time in wit and humor.
How it moves from action to action. There's no pace. There's no slowdown.
In other words,
nothing in between.
They're not questioning whether the content of the cartoon is not funny. What they're saying is the pace is just too rapid. The scenes are just like split second. Right. Oh, I understand.
Right.
The assholes are coming back. I may have to close this door.
This Dr. Dimitri Christakis is a child development specialist, and he wrote an editorial accompanying the study published online today. Christakis said parents need to realize that fast-paced programming may not be appropriate for very young children. What kids watch matters, not just how much they watch. University of Virginia psychology professor Angeline Lillard said Nickelodeon's SpongeBob should not be singled out.
What about video games that are inappropriate for young children?
She said parents should realize that young children are compromised in their ability to learn and use self-control immediately after watching such shows. I would not advise watching such shows on the way to school, or any time they're expected to pay attention and learn. Nickelodeon spokesman David Bittler disputed the findings and said SpongeBob is aimed at kids 6 to 11, not 4-year-olds.
Yeah, not middle-aged gentlemen like old James Piranha Madonna.
Having 60 non-diverse kids who are not part of the show's targeted audience watch 9 minutes of programming is questionable methodology and could not possibly provide the basis for any valid findings that parents could trust.
I'm gonna shut this door. These fucking people are back again. Fucking big mouth cocksuckers.
I heard a meow.
I like to go out there with my shillelagh and really whack them on the head. Big mouth kids. I like to whack them, put them out of their misery. Piece of shit, man. Trying to sabotage the high quality professionalism of our show. Anyway, continue. You have any heavy duty articles there? Since we have about 15 minutes left.
Well, you got what you consider heavy duty.
Well, I mean, nothing too light, where people are going to think we're soupy sales over here. Low budget.
Astronomers announced the discovery of 50 new planets circling stars beyond the sun, including one super Earth.
I dig this. I really dig this article. I dig it. I dig it, man. Don't get excited. Don't get excited.
Is the right distance from its star to possibly have water.
Wait. Who? Why? What's the name of this?
A super Earth, a new planet discovered.
Oh, how arrogant! They have to call it. They have to call it Super Earth. How dare they attribute other planets with the name Earth? Vile creature. I mean, humans on this planet.
If we are really, really lucky, this planet could be a habitat like Earth.
I would plant a tree plantations, and I would have like millions of acres of blackthorn, so we can have billions of shillelaghs. I don't know. Continue.
The planet, dubbed HD 85512B as in boy.
Oh, gee, like I can remember those names.
Circles an orange star.
It's like these. Go ahead. Yeah.
Somewhat smaller and cooler than our sun, about 36 light years away.
It's like these idiots that come up with these long internet names instead of making it short and simple.
The star is visible in the southern sky in the constellation Vela.
The constellation Vela? Constellation Vela? Okay.
The newly found planet circles this star every 59 days.
What galaxy? Did they establish what galaxy this is in?
No.
Andromeda? Milky Way? Snickers? Hershey's? Payday? No, seriously.
Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. I like Snickers. I like also that English toffee. What is it? Heath Bar?
Anyway.
Anyway, I like dark chocolate.
The distance of
go
this
ahead.
planet.
Mounds. No, Almond Joy. Mounds. I love coconut.
The distance of this planet puts it at the edge of the habitable zone.
Yeah, habitable, my ass.
Where water could exist if atmospheric conditions were right.
We're right.
It is said that the planet is at the warm edge of its star's habitable zone, as if standing next to a bonfire.
Really?
That means the planet would require a lot of cloud cover, which reflects starlight, to keep the surface cool enough to prevent any water from boiling. Astronomers have not determined whether the new super-Earth is rocky like the Earth or gassy like Jupiter, let alone whether it even has an atmosphere. The new super-Earth is 3.5 times the mass of Earth. Since 1995, astronomers have found more than 600 planets beyond the Earth.
Interesting. Interesting. I like that article. We like science here at Newsletter Censored. We like science. We like environmental issues. What you got there, Chief?
The mournful crying sound had puzzled residents of Highlands neighborhood all summer.
Where the hell's that?
It was such a strange, ghastly moan. They all felt compelled to contact authorities.
The Atlantic Highlands in New Jersey?
When police went to investigate, they discovered the source was a 600-pound pet tortoise named Maximus.
I think I know where this is going. Yeah.
Who was living with 3 other rare Aldabra tortoises on the back patio of a duplex.
From an island in the Indian Ocean. I think it's called Seychelles. Very, very, very large tortoise. I think the heaviest or the second heaviest, the second to the Galapagos tortoise, I think. But we're talking about a tortoise that can reach several hundred pounds in weight.
One of the other 3 reptiles weighed 125 pounds.
And they're babies.
The other 2 were 50 pounds each.
Infants.
All 4 were removed from the property Tuesday and taken to the Popcorn Zoo in Lacey,
What a stupid name for a zoo.
where they will live until a permanent home is found.
Poor things.
In the meantime, owner Richard Hines has been charged with 8 counts of animal cruelty, as well as possession of an exotic species without a permit.
Well, I think New Jersey, it really rips people off with all their permits for this and that. I don't really care about New Jersey and their stupid permits. It's all political bullshit. But as far as the cruelty goes, as far as people that are animal hoarders go, and neglecting to take care of their animals properly, or maybe these tortoises were not fed properly, or maybe they were sick, and Aldabra tortoises are from a tropical island in the Indian Ocean. They're not from cold and damp northeastern United States.
Mr. Hines's wife, however, said the whole situation is a big misunderstanding.
Yeah, bullshit. Fuck you.
She said,
bitch.
Maximus doesn't cry out because of sadness. It's a mating call, she said. I've been listening to it for years. It's kind of a joke for us.
Yeah, joke.
It's no joke to Victor Buddy Amato, Chief Humane Law Enforcement Officer of the Monmouth County SPCA.
You know what? It should be investigated completely, because do not believe, if you ever watch the animal cops on the Animal Planet, those ASPCA cops, people come up with all kinds of excuses, just like the people from the towing show on True TV. Oh, I'm not behind on my payments. Yeah, then why do we have this legal document to confiscate your vehicle if you pay your bills? They lie all the time. They lie all the. What about these hoarders? Unhealthy, sick cats and dogs, or whatever, in deplorable conditions, living in their own fecal matter, sick, many starving. Come on.
Mr. Amato said the reptiles were malnourished, with silver dollar-sized holes in their shells.
If I was a constable, man, I would be fired, because I would be too rough on these people. If I was a constable.
With silver dollar-sized holes in their shells, coated in fiberglass.
Do you see? I was right.
What the hell is that?
What the hell is that? I was right. No, it's a mating call. His wife says, "Oh, the tortoise is crying because it's a mating call." My ass. Bullshit. The animal's sick.
They were living in an improper shelter with no sun. These are desert tortoises. The owners had dug up these trenches for them when water is the worst thing in the world for them to be lying in.
Oh my God. And I bet they had respiratory infections, because a desert tortoise needs very hot and dry climate. And they need the sun to produce vitamin D3 in order to absorb calcium. These reptiles need sun. They need heat to digest. They need this. They're desert animals. Oh my God.
You've got a 600-pound animal that can only go 5 feet one way and 5 feet the other way.
Oh boy.
The African species of tortoises is second largest in the world. Only the creatures of the Galapagos Islands are bigger.
Old James knows his shit. I told you. I never read the article.
Finding animals of this size is certainly unusual. Periodically, we run into snakes or alligators, but Aldabra tortoises, that's something we don't have much experience with.
Tortoises are cute animals. I used to own one. They're cute as hell, and they're smart for reptiles. They're very smart.
Christina Hines said,
oh, man,
she and her husband have owned Maximus and the other tortoises for more than 15 years.
If I had the Heinzes in front of me, I will make them look like Heinz relish. And that's no joke. Relish.
They purchased the reptiles from a California breeder, kept them at their home in North Carolina before moving to Highlands this summer. We know these animals, she said. They're perfectly happy wading in the water.
Oh boy. You're hearing this, folks, right? They're perfect. These tortoises that were sick, and these desert tortoises sitting in damp water without sufficient sun were perfectly happy the way they were. You heard this. You heard this woman. I tell you, the both of them that were here, I rammed their heads together like Mo Howard would, like two coconuts.
How did these tortoises survive 15 years?
Yeah, how did they survive? And the breeders are no angels either, because what happens is, okay, you go on the internet, you could buy just about anything. There's breeders for just about anything, but they don't send you, like if you I've gotten reptiles online before. They don't send you a proper, truthful care sheet in detail. You have to take it upon yourself to surf the internet, and the problem is when you surf the internet and you research, you get different contradictions. You get different information that conflict with each other, and it confuses people.
Maximus was moved to Popcorn Park in a horse trailer.
Sure, it's huge.
Zoo manager John Bergman lured the tortoise onto the vehicle with a piece of cactus.
Well, tortoises,
which the animals munch on.
Tortoises, yeah, like they love prickly pear pads. Tortoises are not shy when it comes to eating. They have humongous appetites, but they're vegetarian, and you have to feed them properly. A tortoise must have a lot of fiber in its diet, otherwise the fecal matter will eventually contain salmonella. Same thing with iguanas. You have to give it a lot of vegetarian, vegan food, and it has to be high fiber. This is a necessity that you need to research. It's your responsibility as owners to do the proper research to find out how to care for these animals.
All right, I had some other stuff to read here, but I want to make sure of getting this in.
Okay.
Because this is very, very important.
It's short but important.
Well, it's
short. Long but important. Okay.
It would be interesting.
Interesting but important.
Sarah Palin's husband Thursday called a book critical of his family disgusting lies.
I forgot to bring the slide whistle. I was this close to bringing my slide whistle. Sarah Palin joke. Go ahead.
Innuendo and smears, as the former Alaskan governor's camp sought to discredit a racy biography that includes allegations of infidelity, premarital sex, and drug use.
So you're trying to say Sarah Palin is a horny little vixen, like Christine O'Donnell used to be, or maybe she still is.
And she crossed the color line.
Doesn't surprise me, but continue.
As Sarah Palin weighs a White House bid, her husband released a statement seeking to blunt the fallout from Joe McGinnis's The Rogue, searching for the real Sarah Palin. Palin allies also released another denial from the man alleged to have carried on an affair with Sarah Palin.
So Sarah Palin may very well be in reality Nailing Palin.
This is a man who has been relentlessly stalking my family to the point of moving in right next door to us to harass us and spy on us to satisfy his creepy obsession with my wife.
My wife.
Palin wrote of McGinnis.
They just want to, her political career is at stake, but that's all.
His book is full of disgusting lies innuendo, and smears.
Schmears.
The Republicans' 2008 vice presidential nominee and former governor of Alaska made no new reference on her Facebook account to McGinnis's book. Although Sarah Palin previously mocked McGinnis for moving into a rented house next door to the Palin home. We're sure to have a doozy to look forward to with this treasure he's penning, Sarah Palin wrote last year. McGinnis's book also repeats allegations, first published in the National Enquirer, that Sarah Palin carried on an affair with Brad Hansen, Todd Palin's former business partner. In a statement released through Palin allies, Hansen again denied the allegation.
Nailin' Palin.
This is the same old story that went around in 2008. It is a complete and outright lie, Hansen said. Appearing on NBC's Today Show, Mr. McGinnis defended his reporting. I think I was fair, as I could possibly have been, given the fact that she told all the people who were closest to her not to talk to me.
Can't be more fair than the truth.
Todd Palin did not address another revelation in the book, that the year before he eloped with her, Sarah Palin had a one-night stand with Glenn Rice,
A fling?
a promising junior basketball player at the University of Michigan,
She's a horny little vixen, isn't she?
who went on to play for the Miami Heat
He got some heat from Nailin'
and the New
Palin.
York Knicks.
Nailin' Palin is an actual porno movie, by the way.
Rice,
Played by a look-alike, yeah.
Mr. Rice,
Mr. Brother Rice.
confirmed
Converted Rice?
the
Yeah.
one-night stand.
So he got his salsichi marinated by Nailin'
Palin.
Palin,
With
the
the
human
Palin.
slide whistle.
Yeah.
The old shillelagh got shellacked. Like, see how shiny this is? Well, his shillelagh got shellacked by Sarah Palin.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The pride and joy. The beloved Sarah Palin of Tea Party.
Would you like to see
Red
a
State?
picture of Mr. Rice, please? It's over there.
Yeah, you know what? I would like to show a picture of Mr.
Well,
Rice.
you might not be able to show it on camera,
You
but
mean it's small?
yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, crossing the color line. So,
Wonder what the right-wing fundamentalist Christians would have to say about that.
okay, now, with your glasses on, I want you to tell me. I'm going to try to get in close.
Take it down a little.
Closer?
All right.
Closer, right?
So that's about it.
Okay. You see Mr. Rice above and Sarah Palin below?
Hold it up a
He's an African-American gentleman.
Yeah.
All right, so I thought that right-wing conservative Republicans were sort of racist. They don't like immigrants. They don't like people of color. But Sarah Palin, I guess, wanted to try a big schlong.
Well, you know what they say. Once you go black, you don't go back.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. The right-wing conservatives who are always so anti-sexuality and anti-pornography, sometimes when you dig deep enough, you find some pretty nasty
Not
skeletons.
sometimes. Most of the time.
You find some pretty nasty skeletons in their closet. Because anytime, psychologically, Dr. Bill, is it true, anytime somebody is loud and boisterous and blows a big loud horn, usually they have something to hide?
Well, in the Republican
Obnoxiousness,
Party,
yeah.
in the Republican Party, they have a lot of homosexuals who rail against other homosexuals.
Yeah, I mean, the people that are the loudest to protest against something that's natural in humanity are hiding something. It's like, you know, it's like a deterrence. They want to, like, to take your attention off of what they do. I guess they do the opposite. They portray themselves as being holier than thou and puritanical and pure.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, they're covering up what they do by being the total opposite of what they do. Meanwhile, a lot of these Republican career politicians probably have call girls visiting their where they're staying, you know, constantly, and probably the taxpayers are paying for it. You know, masseuses, whores, having flings, cheating on their spouses.
Bondage clubs.
Maybe bondage clubs. All kinds of nasty, all kinds of fetishes. That who knows what they do. But then they become very puritanical in front of the camera, in front of the media.
Yeah.
They come off as being pure. That's why I said Sarah Palin wanted to try a big shillelagh. So she went with this guy. Christine O'Donnell is probably horny as all hell, but she wants to ban masturbation and pornography and, you know, make it illegal. You know what I'm saying? So they're hiding something. They're phonies.
Guilt.
Hey, a counterfeit Christian is a hypocrite. Why not? If you're a counterfeit Christian and a hypocrite when it comes to the Lord, why not be that way in all aspects of your life? If that's the way you are, if you're conservative, that's judgmental and, you know, tries to rewrite the Bible. They're sneaky. They're slippery little eels. I'm telling you, these conservatives. All right, we got time for one last article. Is there like a real good one?
You got your choice.
I got a choice.
Scary Perry, or
Sounds...
Dr. Oz, and the arsenic in apple juice.
Now, is this Dr. Oz article connected to the apple juice, the arsenic, right?
That's correct.
Now, Scary Perry is connected to preaching to the public.
Religion stuff, yeah.
You know what? Let's save Oz's apple juice for next week. Well, incidentally, you know what? They're both good. They're both good. The thing with Oz's apple juice, I'll say it really quick. American food industry, the companies that make apple juice are getting their apples internationally, and foreign countries are using pesticides that are unsafe. Arsenic. And of course, American food companies...
Now, if you remember something.
Yeah.
When Mr. Bush, GW, first entered office, he allowed them to up the limits of what arsenic could be in things.
Deregulation.
Correct.
By Republicans, sure. It's expected.
So now Mr. Dr. Oz comes up and finds that there is more more arsenic in apple juice than should be there.
That is true. And you know, and they get their apples internationally because why?
And why?
Save money, because they're greedy, the American food industry.
But we have more apples than God in this country. There's no need to import apple.
There's tons of fruit orchards in the United States, especially apples. Why import apples? Are they that greedy, Dr. Bill, the American food industry?
It's an example of the stupid trade policies that we do with other countries.
There you go.
Like right now, we got the Colombia one up, we got Korea up, we got the other one.
Yeah.
Korea, we expect to sell Fords and Chevys in Korea.
Oh, sure.
That ain't going to happen.
The Koreans are going to say, "Fuck you."
Who the hell in Korea is going to buy a Ford or a Chevy instead of a Kia?
I would rather buy a Kia or a Hyundai living in the United States.
See? That's my point.
Instead of buy a Ford or a Chevy. And I'm living here. I'm American. You're gonna make South Koreans buy a Ford and Chevy?
Yeah, and add the import costs and all the other stuff
All
they're
right,
going to put on.
I tell you what, why don't we read the Oz Arsenic Apple article as the first article for next week and just go right to, oh God,
Mr. Perry.
Mr. Perry, since he's running for president in 2012 for the Republican Party. And he's a nut. He's a religious nut.
Yes, well, this will help explain that.
All right, last article.
Texas Governor Rick Perry offered himself Wednesday as a decidedly anti-intellectual candidate.
Anti-intellectual.
Making light of flunking out of some of his classes at Texas A&M University, and instead casting his life and presidential aspirations in deeply spiritual terms. Now, who was our last president who did that?
GW?
Correct.
You mean the moron?
That's correct.
Die.
The moron who got us into 2 wars, Medicare Part D, and 2 tax cuts for the rich.
You mean war profiteering?
Yeah.
Along with Dick Cheney, who likes to shoot his hunting partner in the face?
In an address at Liberty University, and by the way, Liberty University is Falwell's University.
Ah, the late bloated toad preacher, evangelist.
You know, he has a son.
Jerry Falwell.
Who's taken over for him.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Does he look like him?
Oh, I don't know. Probably has some.
Now, doesn't Jerry Falwell have a college in Virginia somewhere?
Yeah, Liberty
College.
Liberty University.
It's an accredited university.
I don't know. If
Well, let me guess.
It's a religious university.
Let me guess. They teach right-wing fundamentalism.
Yes.
Right-wing fundamentalism.
Yes. The Christian college, founded by evangelist Jerry Falwell, Perry said he spent many nights in his 20s pondering his purpose, wondering what to do with this one life among the billions that were on the planet.
Jeez.
But God's answers were revealed to him in time.
Really?
Yeah. He who knows the number of drops in the ocean, he counts the sands in the desert, he knows you by name. He doesn't require perfect people to execute his perfect plan, Perry said. As spiritual beings, we are meant to live in relationship with our Creator and with one another. Gee, how can you do that when you don't help the needy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean...
Is this not another example of hypocrisy?
If you claim to be a real Christian, shouldn't you walk the walk and not just talk the talk?
Yeah,
sure. Right? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, repentance without any good works or positive Christian action in your life. I mean, it sounds like hypocrisy.
And the happiest moments of every experience are when I am in communion with God and in community with others, he said. Perry's 20-minute address was one of the longest and most personal of his campaign. It was shorn of policy prescriptions, and he avoided any discussion of the HPV vaccine he required for girls as governor that has sparked an uproar among some conservatives.
Does that stand for the human papillomavirus?
That is correct. Mr. Perry in Texas mandated that girls must take the vaccine.
Yeah, but don't vaccines have negative side effects?
Yes, they do. And they are contaminated. And this particular vaccine doesn't really prevent cancer.
Then what good is it?
Correct.
To make money, maybe?
Well, let's say Merck, he said, gave him $5,000. Others said it was over $230 or so.
Is that
so
why?
So that would be like crony capitalism?
Crony capitalism.
Yeah.
Is that why Walgreens, without fail, every September,
flu shot,
October, has a big sign in the front pushing the flu vaccine, the influenza vaccine?
Yeah.
I think the turn of the century didn't the influenza virus kill like 18 million or 15, I don't know, like millions and millions of people at one time?
Well, that just shows you how bad immune systems were.
back then. With the poor, etc.
There you go.
Instead, Perry spoke of growing up with modest means in Paint Creek, Texas, of struggling academically in school, and in his late 20s, after he returned home from the Air Force, finding God.
So he was a lousy student, and then he found God, but he was still a lousy student, and he still was able to become governor of the state of Texas, having a lousy academic background, but because he became a right-wing fundamentalist holy roller, religious nut, people voted for him in Texas to become governor of Texas. Now, do you see how people are in mainstream America, especially in the Bible Belt areas? They don't care if you stink and you have low grades and you're a horse's ass in school. All you have to do is become a religious nut. You know, a religious nut, a holy roller, a right-wing fundamentalist, and they vote for you. So look, I'm speaking in tongues. And start talking about the rapture.
My faith journey is not the story of someone who turned to God because I wanted to. It was because I had nowhere else to turn. I was 27, but I was lost, spiritually and emotionally, and I didn't know how to fix it. As a student at Texas A&M, Perry said it was my heart's content to be a veterinarian.
He should have
but
followed
his
it.
grades stood in the way.
Oh, but he was smart enough to be a career politician. And
That just shows you, doesn't it?
And run the state of Texas.
Damn.
He's too stupid to be a veterinarian, but he's smart enough to be governor of Texas.
Perry's
and president of the United States if he gets elected.
Perry's transcript shows he received an F in organic chemistry, a D in veterinary anatomy, and a C in animal breeding.
What about the basic?
How does anybody in Texas get a C in animal breeding?
Well, what about the basic skills, mathematics, social studies? You know, what about all the basic skills? How did he do?
Didn't say.
Oh.
It has been tradition for Republican presidential hopefuls to make a pilgrimage to Liberty University.
Pilgrimage? What is it, Mecca?
That's what it's like, yeah.
What are they become Haji or
they
something?
They do the Hajj, yeah.
Oh my God! So in other words, you see
now
how
he's got to go. Wait, no, he's got to go to Robertson's University.
Oh, he's got one too.
Yeah.
Now what about the Grahams? Franklin Graham.
Too. Yeah, I'm sure they.
Billy
yeah.
Graham.
Yeah.
They got universities.
Yep.
Big. I'm gonna go on the record and say it sounds like a cult to me.
Well, it is a cult
because they don't know their Bibles.
Exactly.
It's got to be a cult, right?
It's a way like the Catholic Church. Why do you think the Catholic Church has schools? To make converts. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, the Catholic Church that used to torture people in the during the Middle Ages, and even kill millions and millions of cats because they thought they were tied into demons,
devil,
right?
Yeah, the devil.
Yeah, interesting. The Inquisition. Interesting.
Falwell's son, Jerry Falwell Jr.
Jerry Falwell.
Is now the chancellor and invited Perry to speak. Falwell said he would not endorse a candidate, but he gave Perry an enthusiastic introduction. Falwell noted Perry's A+ rating from the National Rifle Association.
A+ rating?
A line that drew loud applause in the arena.
I guess kill him and grill him. This could be a good slogan for him.
Perry in Texas has killed over 234 people. Now,
you mean death penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah, but were they proven beyond a shadow of a doubt?
Well, no, never. In fact, for the record, when the things came before him, he did like George Bush. Ignored them.
Hang him high?
Yeah. Now,
sociopath?
the statistics
Yeah.
of death penalty are that 1 in 10 are probably innocent.
Well, that's pretty tragic.
Yeah, so out of 234, maybe what, 23 were innocent?
Yeah, but I mean, you're to do that. I mean, you're talking about a human life that cannot be.
That's not an embryo.
That cannot come back.
Damn, man.
Oh,
you know
that's
they
right.
care more for embryos.
Oh, that's right. The right-wing fundamentalists care more for embryos that breathe like a fish and fertilized eggs than they do human beings.
Correct.
Babies, like we said last week. Unless you're an elitist baby, then they care a lot about you. But if you're a po folk baby, you're a po kid, you're nothing.
You're a drain on
You're
society.
a burden. Do they feel the same way about disabled, handicapped people and
Oh, yes, of course
What-
they do, but out in public they won't come out and say.
what about seniors?
They'll do things behind your back with policy things to make the Americans with Disability Act impotent or something like that.
What about seniors living
That's
on
how
a
they
fixed
do it.
income? Are they burdens to Republicans?
Absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah. And they always have the stooge. They always have this disabled poster boy get up and say, "I'm independent. I'm self-sufficient. I have a job. I don't go. I'm not on Social Security disability. I pay bills from my income. I work. I want to be productive member of society. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be Come on. Give me a break. How is the salary earned by a disabled person going to allow them to survive and be financially independent and pay their bills in this modern capitalist American society? How are they going to make ends meet, realistically?
The Republicans don't care about that. They care about the poster boy.
Because the poster boy is a stooge, like a shill, right?
Yeah, and what it does is it's like their converts that they have. Their converts have never have the Republicans doing things in their interest, and yet they're behind them 100%.
Well,
same thing with someone like the poster boy.
what I always say at the end is, let's say the corporatist Republicans get their way, and we have a corporate plutocracy controlling the country 100%. It's fascism. Who's going to buy they're so greedy and they care so much about corporatism. Who is going to buy their products if mainstream America is homeless and jobless and doesn't have the money to buy their products? Who is going to be their consumer? The magic question from old James. Who's going to be the consumer? Who?
I don't know. Certainly won't be the people in China working for 13 cents an hour.
It's a good question for people that want to debate old James. Like there's a pilot for a show in somebody's mind right now that asked me if I want to debate this conservative guy, this little Jewish guy. He's conservative. He's Tea Partier, and he wants to debate me. If I ask him that question, and if I say, if your political ideology wins, who has the money to buy your products and support this pro-capitalist system with no social programs? There's no consumer. Who has the money? I wonder what kind of answer he would give me in a debate. Would he say hamana, hamana, hamana like Jackie Gleason?
For a while, and then he'd come up with something.
They'll come up with some bullshit, yeah. But anyway, we're living in the end times, and we see nothing but gloom and doom because
there is no empathy.
It is prophesized. It is prophesized. The United States is one of the cursed lost tribes, the lost 10 tribes of ancient Israel, the modern-day descendants. It is destined to go down, brother. And the only hope is the second coming of Christ. And many right-wing fundamentalist counterfeit Christians are in for a rude awakening. the ones that don't know their Bible. We'll see. Say so long.
So long, everybody.